Hello, this is Two Ladies Midwest Adventures. I'm Jenny, and I am going to be reading part 2 of The Incredible Escape of John Surratt. In the book, True Tales of Bold Escapes. So, let's finish this. Let's see how many pages first. Sorry, last one was 30 minutes. It's a lot of pages. I think there's going to be more parts in this. Let's get started. Surratt's post-war description of this espionage work is not entirely candid. He dodged a number of important facts and hedged on many of the facts he conceded, a common practice in the neither world of secret intelligence. Among the facts, he astutely sidestepped where those shortening his ears his early war activities at Surratt's Valley. At the time, his widowed mother kept the tavern in his village a few miles to the south of Washington. An older brother had gone to Texas. Mrs. Surratt could not make ends meet, so relatives and friends procured for Johnny the job of village postmaster. A perfect post for a secret agent. Not only did the job give him access to U.S. mail, but it gave him a chance to convert the post office into a letter drop for secret Confederate mail. In the time, the Surratt's Valley post office became the key situation on the Gray Underground, operating between Richmond and Washington, D.C. This line was soon extended to Baltimore, the New York City, and on to Montreal, Canada. It was an artery most financial to the Confederate war effort, one curiously overlooked by many Civil War historians, and it would seem curiously overlooked by the contemporary War Department in Washington under a Union naval blockade that built a wall of wooden ships and ironclads along the southern seaboard. The Confederacy had great difficulty in maintaining communications with Europe, even in respect to overseas business. The mere exchange of commercial mail, this hurt the South, more important to Richmond. However, were fast diplomatic exchanges with Latin and Paris, when James D. Bulloch was purchasing Confederate warships in England, he maintained communications with Richmond via the Underground Line through Baltimore. The capture or sinking of such correspondence could hit the Richmond government. Painful blows, hence the need for the underground linking. Richmond with Washington, Baltimore, New York, Montreal ports were Confederate dispatches, secretly delivered, might be posted with appropriate stamps and sent to Europe. Courtesy of the U.S. or the Royal Mail. Or conservatively, dispatches from Europe might be smuggled south. John Surratt carried some of these highly important dispatches. He contended for the federal detectives who occasionally intercepted him was not entirely warranted. Today we know the U.S. War Department was informed on lost my place. Today we know the U.S. War Department was informed on the Richmond-Canada line, and U.S. Army intelligence was reading some of the Confederate dispatches. A body of Civil War data concerning military secret intelligence is still marked secret and withheld as of 1964 from public domain, but the archives contain an interesting State Department dispatch, which was sent to Secretary Seward early in January 1865, and which Seward at once forwarded to the War Department. This commune from the U.S. Consular Agent, Toronto, unearthed the Confederate Underground Line all the way from Canada to Richmond. An excerpt. The rebels in the city have a quick and successful communication with Jeff Davis and the authorists in Richmond in the following manner. Having plenty of money at their command, they employ British subjects who are provided with British passports, and also with passports from call under dash COL and then a long underdash line. Probably that's why it's secret. Probably Jacob Thompson, which are plainly written, name and date of issue on fine silk, and as ingeniously secreted in the lining of the coat. They carry dispatches which are made and carried in the same manner. These messengers wear metal buttons, which upon inside dispatches are most minutely photographed, not perceptible to the naked eye, but are easily read by the aid of a powerful lens. Letters are written but are closely interlined with imprintable ink, as they term it, which when a certain chemical is employed is easily distributed. The messenger arriving at Baltimore received additional instructions from B underdash line and proceeds to Washington. Here he undergoes a thorough examination, is searched and permitted to pass. He takes a southeasterly course to Port Tobacco, where he is sheltered by a window. Mrs. F. and at dead of night crosses in an India rubber boat to the south side of the Potomac. Thence he goes to Bowling Green, where his rebel passport is used sent to Guerilla B, who hastens him on to Richmond. He returns by the same route. The last trip was made in 14 days, December 14th, 28. So the federal authorities were content with the Confederate underground line, and they knew that this clandestine route threaded its way through the U.S.-Canadian border, stations at Niagara Falls and at St. Albans, Vermont. By April 1865, they were also acquainted with John H. Surratt. For informer Louis Wichman, starboard at the Widow Surratt's lodged house in Washington, had reported on shadowy doings at H Street address during the March week of Lincoln's second inauguration. A pre-war classmate of Surratt's, Wichman, knew the family well. He had seen both posturing in Mrs. Surratt's parlor. John Surratt had introduced himself to the actor, and Wichman later swore to Dr. Mudd with two D's, to the H Street house, had come to Bravo Lewis Plain, the Port Tobacco Rostenbout, all surratt, the sleazy young drug clerk David Horold. Other visitors included mysterious Mrs. Salter and the rebel spy Gus Howell. The fugitives' comings and goings, and the display of weapons had convinced Border Richmond that they planned to kidnap Lincoln, or so he had told an officer in the War Department. I am going to stop it there because that is gonna leave you on a cliffhanger. This time I won't lose my spot. Hopefully. And stay blessed. Make the world a better place, one person or one moment at a time. And hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, Dad said. Love you, Dada. 3, 2, 1. Boop. I wish Julietta was down here. She'd enjoy the boop too. So,